Greetings, magnificent souls, to the Lilli Bewley podcast, where we have open and honest discussions about ourselves. This is your host, Lilli Bewley, and I'm honored to have conversations here with thought leaders, visionaries, healers, and even solo conversations with myself about things I am currently reflecting on. This is a place where we break down, break away, and break through our emotional trauma, allowing ourselves to be healthy, be happy, and live a peaceful life. We are tired of being sick and tired. We are tired, but we are not giving up. We know that there is something magnificent inside of us. And because we are fighting daily, hourly, and by the minute, fighting ourselves, our jobs, our unhappiness, we have to do things differently. We have to break the cycle. We don't have a million chances. We have to be happy now. We have to find a way. So how do we do that? How is that possible? If you look around at what society is telling you, they tell you that what we're doing is impossible, yet it's happening every single day. And it's happening through the practice and the love that we call awakening the magnificent soul. We are all magnificent souls, and these are our stories of healing. Today in episode 145, a solo episode today about how to stop history from repeating itself. Juicy. Before we get into the show, don't forget to let me know your thoughts about this episode or anything you would like me to cover on future podcasts by dropping me a DM on Instagram. Remember, it is a safe place and I would welcome the discussion. And also a request, if you are enjoying the show, please rate and share and review so we can get the word out to more and more souls who want to heal. And now on to today's episode, how to stop history from repeating itself. Before I even start with this conversation, let me say that for me, this has been a 5-year process. And I can say that it's worth it if you stick in and you put the little bit of hope maybe that you have ahead of anything else happening in your life, that this can happen. But what I will say, and if you've been here for a while or if you're new to the community, I really try to stay away from any quick tips and tricks because frankly, we're talking about here really, really deeper level root cause issues in this space. We're talking about nervous system regulation. We're talking about healing from a deeper level rather than the quick mindset switches and tricks that we put that I see other people putting out there. So I want to put that first. And if this isn't for you, feel free to skip this episode. But I will say, like, how to stop history from repeating itself. Like, history is history for a reason. And I can tell you that for me, we talk about love and relationships in this space. For me, I remember the exact day that it clicked in for me that this pattern of unhealthy relationship was the exact pattern that my parents had. And I remember very specifically because I was in a long-term relationship and I was speaking to my dad about something that was bothering me. And then I spoke to my partner, my boyfriend at the time, about the same thing that was bothering me. And come to find out, they both told me the same thing, which was essentially like the way that I interpreted it, let's say. I interpreted what they said to me was, you suck and you should just stop trying. Basically, it was about business. But the thing that clicked in for me that day was that they both told me the exact same thing. And mind you, back in this time that I was in my development, I didn't really know about anything. I was really just trying to survive. I didn't know about books on personal development. I didn't know about podcasts. I didn't even really therapy really wasn't, I guess, well, yeah, I don't even know if I knew about therapy. That sounds really weird for me coming now, but either I didn't know about it or it just wasn't talked about and it was shunned. So at that time, I really didn't know that there was a different type of relationship available to me. And that day, when those two people, those two very important pillars, those two very important male pillars in my life told me the exact same thing, honestly, that was the day that I just gave up hope. And I remember very specifically saying to my boyfriend, you're my person. And the only reason I said that, in looking back, is that I noticed that the pattern that I had seen in, again, the only male figures that I knew that were really close to me in my life were telling me the same thing. So maybe I really didn't deserve anything better. Maybe nothing better in a relationship was accessible to me. And so that day was the day that I kind of put hope in a box and I buried it. And I resigned myself to the same relationship that my parents had. And that was my history. And of course, like if we're talking about dating and relationships, of course I saw the same patterns of, even in dating through my dating process, of unavailable men, of me sacrificing myself and my body just to get connection and love and intimacy. I saw those patterns. And when I kind of got to the point where I knew what I was doing was not good for me, like this was a few years down the line, but I really couldn't seem to get what I wanted, that's when, God, the universe, creator, whatever word you want to use, brought to me this trauma healing and this deeper level root cause healing that, in my opinion, is the only way to change history and to change patterns. And now I'm done. Just kidding. I'll hang out with you a little bit more. But history is history for a reason. Whether that be the patterns that we have in our family, whether that be the patterns that we see in our life. What's interesting about history is that if our nervous system and our brains and our bodies only know a certain way of being, that way of being is our comfort zone. And when people hear this, some people get really, even a part of me is speaking up and saying, well, that's stupid. Like, what you're telling me a comfort zone is attracting available partners, being really frustrated and confused about dating, and really maybe not even being in my highest self and my truest needs and desires. Are you telling me, Lilli, that that's my comfort zone? To that, I would say yes. It doesn't make sense. But we only manifest what we know until we get to the deeper root cause issues. And what we begin to know and learn is something different than what we are used to. Say that again. So the only way that we can turn a past and a history and a pattern into something new and something different is by healing the deeper root cause issues of why we're having these behaviors, why we're having these thoughts, why we're having these beliefs. And of course, if you've been in the community for a minute, you know that I really, I'm a big proponent of healing containers, like therapy, like coaching containers, like my containers. It doesn't matter. Just get to healing. So how to stop repeating history, how to stop attracting unavailable partners, how to stop having shitty divorces after divorces after divorces, how to really feel loved and fulfilled in your dating and relationship life, and you feel the same way in pretty much every other area of your life, but you just can't seem to do it in relationship. History is history for a reason. And our body, again, like that day that I'm telling you about, probably like 5 or 6 years ago, probably 6 now. Like in hindsight, like I felt that click in my body about, oh, this is all I know. So it's all that I know. And my body, my mind, my spirit at that time believed that because I didn't know anything else. And one of my coaches, one of my mentors, Maston Kipp, he always says that, and this has been completely true for me. It's completely true for me every day to this day, is that what we want to seek to change our behaviors, to change our thoughts, to change our patterns, is what we want to seek are called disconfirming experiences. Disconfirming experiences. So what I experienced that time ago when I told you about my memory, that was a confirming experience for me. Confirming that shitty relationships were really all that I was able to get. Confirming that relationships are hard. Confirming that that's just the way men are. My mom told me that once. Confirming that because he was like my dad, then that's where I was supposed to be. Confirming that he was my person, even though he wasn't. So what we want to seek is disconfirming experiences. And that's why therapy and coaching is so amazing, in my opinion. It's because it really helps you draw out disconfirming experiences for you. If you think of our neural pathways as like let's say there's a big snowbank or something like that. There's a big snowbank in your brain. And the confirming experiences create like this, say a snowmobile is going through the snowbank, it creates a path, right? It's a really deep path because the snow is packed up really high, and it just, as it goes along, it creates this path. Confirming experiences in this analogy is this basically this snowmobile going on this path deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and just creating these deeper level neural roots to what we really don't want. And that's why confirming or disconfirming experiences are so important, is because we're creating, like, disconfirming experiences are basically creating new neural pathways in our body, in our brain. And then the nervous system starts to catch up, creating new connections in the brain and the nervous system. And like a disconfirming experience could be, for me, in my life, it's all about speaking up. All about speaking up. In fact, my partner and I have a sacred vow that when something is going on inside of us, something icky or weird or not aligned or whatever it is happening inside of us, because both of us are pretty sensitive, like we pick up on energy pretty quickly, we talk about it. That is a huge disconfirming experience for me, because speaking up for me, for a part of me and a part of my life up until about maybe like 4 years ago, after I did some really deep level healing, was dangerous inside of me, was dangerous in my environment, was dangerous even in society. And, go figure, here I have a podcast, right? So a disconfirming experience for me is every time that I speak up with my partner. And the double disconfirming experience is that he responds with loving, caring, kindness, support, protection of this thing that's coming up for me. So slowly, I have made speaking up inside of me safe. And then what happened is that this beautiful man came into my life that can hold that can listen, that can not react, that can speak up inside of himself when I already know that something's going on. And I know you women hear me on that one, right? So how to stop repeating the patterns, how to stop the past history? Heal at the root cause. There is work that you can do alone. There is work that when you hit a wall, probably doing the work alone is probably, it's probably a stopping point for you. Like I said, if you can get into therapy, if you can get into groups, there are free workshops and groups out there that you can get into. It's better than nothing. I started at coda.org. That's where I started about 6 years ago, getting a coaching container. Start to heal that root, because that is when you really, really start to internalize your magnetism, your shine, your voice, your intuition. And really, that's when you really start to see things happen in the real world. And that's how you stop repeating the patterns of the past. Thank you for being here, my loves. Thank you so much for being in this space with me. Thank you for this community. I'm honored. I'm grateful to be here with you. A few things before we close up today. Don't forget to take the Feminine Dating Archetype quiz. It's in the show notes. And I don't know if you haven't, there are probably a lot of people on here that are listening that have, and that's to reveal your blocks to love and find your true love match. And if you are wanting to call in epic love, if that is something that you desire, yet you're seeing patterns in history, or if the fear of repeating history in the way, if you want to love dating and find true love, feel free to join me in Dating You. That's my school for magnetic relationships. You do get 1 month as a free trial. That's one free class, basically. So I'm not sure why you wouldn't, especially if you want to hang out with me. But use code LOVE2023 at the link in the show notes to sign up. And I look forward to seeing you there. And as always, I love you. I support you. You are loved. You are supported. Thank you for being here.